колеги, до слова запрошується речник.
Dear colleagues, now the floor is given to Ministry of Defense spokesman and NATO-related issues, Colonel Andriy Lysenko. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Now the information about the events that happened in the ATO zone during the last 24 hours and about training of Ukrainian armed forces. The trends in the Lugansk sector remain the same. The militants, starting early morning till late at night, delivered fire at positions of ATO in Popasnensky region, including with the use of heavy weapons. And there were 11 violations of ceasefire, 5 with the use of mortars. In Novodarsk and Stanично-Lugansk regions, there were 1 shellings in each in Krymsk and Stanitsa-Lugansk respectively. In Krymsk, the fire was delivered with small fire and also supported it with short mortar shellings. During the last 24 hours in the Lugansk sector, there were 13 enemy shellings, including 6 with the use of heavy weapons. The Donetsk sector, in the region of Svetlodarsk, there were 6 enemy shellings, lasted for 15 minutes to 1 hour, and in each episode they used weaponry of APCs and mortars. Gorlovka perimeter here, the enemy continues using heavy weapons. In Mayorsk right after midnight, the militants launched more than 20 mines. And after 2 a.m., the militants, using 152mm cannons deployed in Gorlovka, launched about 30 shells at our positions in Zaitsevo. And the second shelling of Zaitsevo was with the use of mortars, and after sunset, the enemy launched 15 mines. In the southern area of occupied Gorlovka, the situation was tense. In Verkhnyotaretsk and Shiroka Balka and Vasilevka Druga, the militants were active during second part of the day, and they widely used mortars, weaponry of APCs, and also small arms. The situation near Avdiivka, enemy shellings in the spot of front line are carried out during 24 hours, and in the majority of cases the enemy uses mortars. Shakhta Butivka positions was shelled with the use of tank. According to General Staff, yesterday's statistics, the enemy launched 6 tanks, shells, and 50 mines of different caliber. And local residents continue to suffer from aggression of the enemy in the course of enemy shellings. 62-year-old resident of Avdiivka was wounded in his shoulder, and he was provided with medical help. In the Donetsk airport region, starting noon till 5 p.m., the enemy tried to provoke Ukrainian forces to return fire using small arms, but the enemy failed, and at sunset and throughout the day there was lull. And in the Donetsk sector there were 33 enemy shellings, including 13 with the use of heavy weapons. The Mariupol sector. Starting afternoon, the enemy opened fire with the use of small arms and in the Krasnogorovka and Novotroitska positions, and the shellings lasted about an hour, and then the enemy was not active. And the situation remains tense in the south of the sector, with epicenters in Vodiane and Shirokina. Enemy shelling started right after midnight with the use of small arms, including sniper rifles. And afternoon, the enemy opened mortar fire and delivered fire till the end of the day. And sporadically, the enemy violated ceasefire in the Lebedinska, Gnutova, and Pavlovpil. And in the last case, the enemy launched 8 mines. And on the whole, in the Mariupol sector, there were 32 enemy shellings, 4 of which with the use of mortars. During the last 24 hours, in the result of the military actions, 2 Ukrainian servicemen were killed and 1 was wounded. Our hearts go out to the relatives of those who died for Ukraine. In Selidovo town, Donetsk Oblast, the law enforcers detained the Oplot member. And the law enforcers identified that 24-year-old man in May 2014 joined a militant group to earn money, and he was nicknamed Chico. He was armed and served a checkpoint, and together with other militants, he tried to establish control over shops of Makiivka. He didn't get any money, and in February 2015, he fled to Donetsk. Then he decided to hide in controlled territory of Ukraine, where he was detained. The court of Donetsk Oblast released from criminal responsibility one more participant of SBU program that is called They Wait For You Back Home. In May 2014, the resident of Konstantinivka joined so-called DPR. In July, after the town was freed by armed forces of Ukraine, together with other militants, he fled to Donetsk, and he was serving there for 2 years at checkpoint. Then he understood that he made a mistake, and he voluntarily addressed Ukrainian law enforcers and was released from criminal responsibility because he didn't commit any heavy crimes. SB officers found a cache of ammunition with weapons of Russian production in Zaitsevo village, Bakhmutska region. In the abandoned house, DPR members placed and operative officers seized a grenade launcher shell Orges 7B Russian make of 2014, also gunpowder charged to 26 tank shells, 130 grenade launcher shells. And in Chernigivщина, artillerymen had training with the use of self-propelled howitzers, and they rehearsed delivering fire and also deployment of firing positions in the course of the battle, military actions. And through Novotroitsk, 7 cars went through from the International Committee of Red Cross, bringing medicines and products for the residents of the Donetsk Oblast, overall mass of which is 123 tons. At the same time, yesterday there was an opening of the module of First Medical Aid at Gnutovo checkpoint. In the course of this event, the head of Red Cross in Mariupol, Rafael Tano, officially provided module to the representatives of state security service of emergency situations and the bodyguard service of Ukraine. This module is for the citizens who cross the checkpoint. And today we celebrate the Day of the Security Service of Ukraine. It was established 25 years ago, and it was adopted by the Law of Supreme Council on Security Service of Ukraine. And we wish our colleagues success in their profession because they defend territorial integrity and sovereignty of our state. Thank you very much. No questions. Goodbye.